Brought to you by Bangkok Bank. Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
And I'm Weena Jungbasit. It's Monday, the 9th of September.
Yeah, let's take a look at the latest update in Thailand,
Yes.
in Bangkok, Thailand, as the Thai Airways A330 Kunwina just this midnight seemed to skid off the runway after landing. So Thai Airways reported being the A330 registration HS/TEF performing flight TG679 from Guangzhou, China to Bangkok, Thailand with 287 passengers and 14 crew members landed on Bangkok's runway 19L but veered right off the runway and came to a stop with all gear on soft ground, while a large plume of dust rose above the aircraft, initially creating fears of a crash followed by smoke from the right-hand engine. The aircraft was evacuated via slides, while 12 people received minor injuries in the evacuation. The aircraft received damage to both engines and the nose gear. The nose gear is bent but did not collapse. Ground witnesses reported seeing sparks or fire at the right-hand side of the aircraft during rollout. So the right-hand engine emitted smoke after the aircraft came to a stop. Emergency services foamed the engine, stopping the smoke. So the airline reported in the original Thai wording that upon touchdown, the nose gear caused a disruption which resulted in the aircraft to veer off the runway. But the captain took control of the aircraft and brought it to a stop. Well, a passenger reported that the aircraft touched down normally with its main gear, but when the nose gear touched down, the aircraft veered violently to the right. The aircraft appeared to roll left, then right. Though when the aircraft came to a stop, there was fire visible from the right-hand side, and evacuation through the left-hand doors was immediately initiated.
The Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra said that following the protest threats, the Thai government will instruct provincial governors from southern provinces to help farmers affected by the plummeting price of rubber. One Surat Thani group of farmers has agreed to a 90 baht per kilogram price for ribbed smoked rubber sheets, calling off a protest and canceling a September 10 rally to burn symbolic coffins. Another group insisted on 120 baht per kilogram on its rubber and will join Nakhon Si Thammarat farmers in a major protest on September 14. This prompted the Surat Thani governor to order a coordination center dealing with the rubber price issue in Phuphin district to remain. Yingluck said the government would follow the 4-point agreement which Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Kitilat Naranong has reached with rubber farmers. She walked away when asked if the government could meet the demands within 7 days. Songkhla Police Chief Police Major General Suwit Chern Sili said so far no rubber farmers had planned to block the immigration checkpoints in Sadao district. But if they did attempt to do so, they would be prevented from getting there, he said. Songkhla Governor Kisira Bunrat said he was confident he would dissuade the farmers not to create economic damage to the province, which earns mostly from exports and tourism. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister Niwat Thamlong Bunsong Paisan said China has agreed to buy Thai agricultural produce, including 1.2 million tons of rice, 300,000 tons of tapioca, and 200,000 tons of rubber. The deal will be signed this month. China is also interested in setting up factories to process rubber and tapioca, and as well as palm oil, he said.
This is certainly a good news, Karina, as Thailand is on its way to becoming shopping mega city like Hong Kong and Singapore, as the cabinet is expected to cut import duties on designer goods in a couple of months. Well, according to Aripong Pushaum, Permanent Secretary at the Finance Ministry, said yesterday that the government has a policy for Thailand to become a shopping paradise. So it will reduce the tax on luxury imports to a competitive level with other countries like Singapore and Hong Kong, which have zero tariff on luxury goods like perfumes and cosmetics. So lower customs taxes on luxury goods, which local shopping mall operators have been waiting for years, could draw more foreign visitors and spur domestic spending. The ministry's move comes as the economy braces for low exports and declining domestic spending. Also like to hurt this year's growth are possible military strikes in Syria, which could push up oil prices and further dampen domestic spending. With delayed government projects, the tourism industry expecting 26.2 million foreign arrivals this year is now the only promising economic engine. He also added that Thailand still subjects its goods to 30% duties. If tourists come to Thailand and can purchase all they want here, it would boost spending per tourist. So from October to March, luxury merchandise and imports surged 24% on year to 1.68 billion US dollars or 51 billion baht. The top three product categories were fruits, 10 billion baht, perfumes and cosmetics, and watches and accessories. The proposed reduction in import duties initially on some items like cosmetics, perfumes, and watches would be submitted for cabinet approval in 1 to 2 months, so it would be effective this year. More spending would push up economic growth in the second half. It would also help promote the country's tourism, which provides employment to a few million workers. Eventually, Thailand would be a more competitive destination than other shopping oases like Singapore and Hong Kong. So this measure would be implemented carefully to minimize the impact on domestic businesses. The measure would not promote spending by Thais on luxury items, as Thais with purchasing power nowadays also shop for the items abroad. Besides tourism-related measures, Thailand would also promote border trade to lift economic growth. While exports to major economies drop, border trade is up 15% so far this year. The Finance Ministry is eyeing more funding for border activities and greater convenience in cross-border currency transactions.
Well, the aftermath of Cambodia's general elections is still unresolved, Kun Pasurang, as Cambodia's opposition party leader Sam Rainsy said on Sunday that his party will hold a second mass protest next week if there's no political solution to the contested July 28th election. The Cambodia National Rescue Party, or CNRP, has rejected the final election results announced by the National Election Committee, which said long-serving Prime Minister Hun Sen's party had won and called for an inquiry into what it called massive manipulation of electoral rolls. The National Election Committee said it counted 3,235,969 votes for Hun Sen's Cambodia's People's Party, or CPP, versus 2,946,176 votes for the main opposition, CNRP, led by Sam Rainsy. Based on the final official tally, the CPP won 68 seats in the 123-seat National Assembly, while the CNRP won 55. The CNRP, whose campaign was given a boost by the return from exile leader Sam Rainsy, said it wanted an investigation committee set up with representatives from the political parties, the United Nations, the Election Authority, and non-governmental organizations. The ruling Cambodia's People's Party, or CPP, has opposed to that request, and it insisted that this proposal is against the law and the country's constitutions. Speaking at the press conference after meeting his party's steering committee members, Sam Rainsy said his party will have a second mass protest that will last up to 3 days. They could take because it will be a series of demonstrations. They will be larger, of course, because we will be mobilize people who are not happy with the election results as proclaimed by the NEC, or the National Election Committee, this morning, he said to journalists. On Saturday, the CNRP held a mass demonstration in central Phnom Penh, which saw about 10,000 supporters rallying in the streets. The CNRP also threatened to boycott the first parliamentary session if no appropriate solution is forthcoming.
South Korean President Park Geun-hye arrived in Vietnam on Saturday for a 5-day state visit, as she planned to use it as a starting point for her sales diplomacy drive. The highlight of a trip is a summit with Vietnamese President Truong Thanh Sang on Monday, which is today. Park plans to use the meeting as a first stage in her economic push in foreign policy while trying to expand all-round cooperation with the Southeast Asian nation. Key topics for discussion include how to forge a bilateral free trade agreement and strengthen cooperation in nuclear power and industrial technology. Also on the agenda are the development aid projects, such as providing support for a science and technology institute in Vietnam. A series of memorandums of understanding will be signed after the summit. Park has touted the sales diplomacy slogan in recent months as a commitment to use diplomatic trips and meetings to promote the country's economic interests. As a first official event, Park attended a fashion show featuring the two countries' traditional clothes, Korean hanbok and Vietnamese áo dai, which was participated in by 17 leading Korean designers and 2 from Vietnam, featuring a total of 68 garments. Park herself wore a hanbok to the event, and the state visit also includes meeting with other top Vietnamese leaders such as Nguyen Phuong Trong, the Secretary General of the country's Communist Party, who once visited Thailand, and also Prime Minister Nguyen Thanh Dung and Parliamentary Speaker Nguyen Sinh Hung. On Tuesday, Park plans to make a one-day visit to the southern city of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam's economic center and home to some 1,800 South Korean companies. About 85,000 South Koreans live there. She'll be the first South Korean president to visit Ho Chi Minh City in 9 years. Other officials also said that Park's decision to visit Vietnam on her third overseas trip reflects the importance she attaches to the ASEAN nations, which is enjoying strong economic growth. She also expected to continue her economic focus in foreign policy throughout the rest of the year.
Businessmen in Myanmar urged the government to ease the border trade rules in Myanmar. The Thai businessmen have called on the Myanmar government to relax the border trading rules affected trade with Thailand. They were referring to the export of Thai products through Ban Phu Nam Ron temporary checkpoint in Kanchanaburi via the Shi Ki border checkpoint in Myanmar's Thanasarim division. The businessmen told a group of 5 Myanmar journalists who visited the Kanchanaburi last week that they wanted to boost cross-border trade. The reporters from the Myanmar Journalists Association were in Kanchanaburi as guests of the Thai Journalists Association to sign a memorandum of understanding on a media exchange program. They asked to meet Thai business representatives to discuss cross-border trade after Myanmar opened its Shi Ki border checkpoint in May. Thailand declared Ban Phu Nam Ron a temporary border checkpoint in June. The Ban Phu Nam Ron Chi border checkpoint is a vital gateway for Thailand to the Dawei Deep Sea Port and Special Economic Zone project in southern Myanmar and other nearby regions, said Sanpe Si Satakon, the chairman of the Federation of Thai Industries in Kanchanaburi. We would like all the Myanmar journalists to help convey our message to your responsible ministers. Sanpe said even though the Shiki border checkpoint was now open, Myanmar had to yet allow Thai businesses to export goods through Ban Phu Nam Ron to Myanmar.
Australia and New Zealand, or the ANZ Bank, said the Philippines, economically speaking, is expected to outperform the rest of the region, although its capital outflows will continue to weigh on its equity market. Over the past 14 weeks, an estimated $961.8 million in foreign capital held by fund managers flowed out of the Philippines. In the run-up to the sovereign investment grade rating upgrade, Philippine bonds drew in more than $3.81 billion in foreign capital. The ANZ analyst for Asia Pacific said in a report released yesterday, "We see potential further outflows in the coming months." Where earlier, the bank forecast the Philippine economy to expand 7.1% this year. The report pointed out that the Aquino government's fiscal consolidated program reduced its debt to GDP ratio to 53.9% at the end of the first semester, from a peak of 91.7% in September back in 2004. Victorino added that we believe the government should now address the infrastructure bottlenecks and further boost public investment. With growth exceeding expectation and inflation held at bay, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is expected to maintain its overnight reverse ratio rate at 3.5% and a special deficit account rate of 2%. The ANZ analyst said the economy is hardly in need of further support. Despite the upward pressure on our 2014 inflation outlook, we believe the BSP has enough room to keep rates steady. Meanwhile, the bank raised a cautious warning that developments in India and Indonesia could lead to a contagion risk through emerging Asia.
And Kun Pasrang, in Malaysia, there was a large fair called the World Islamic Tourism Mart, which actually ended, and about 50,000 attended this event to get the best deal for their tickets. Find out more in this special report by the Star Malaysia.
The last day of the World Islamic Tourism Mart MATTA Fair 2013 has welcomed more than 90,000 visitors from various backgrounds as they grab their last chance to get the best deals of flight tickets. Travel operators in the fair have offered many packages, including Muslim-friendly deals as well as for non-Muslim travelers. Musafir China Southeast Regional Manager Jeff Chan says the company understands the needs and the demand of the Muslim community, and China has more than 1,000 years of Muslim cultural history to offer.
Nowadays, to China, especially for Malaysian Muslim or everywhere in the world Muslim, to China is very easy. It's very easy. So, firstly, the historical of the Muslim in China have almost 1,400 years. 1,400 years, and we have the oldest mosque in China, almost 1,000 years. 1,000 years in Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, and west part of the China like Urumqi, Yingchuan. All those cities have have a lot of Muslim. For Muslim packages, we will bring the Muslim friend to the masjid first thing. As we know, Muslims have to pray for 5 times every day. Secondly, the restaurant, definitely we will bring to the halal restaurant, Muslim restaurant, and then for Malaysian or for other place can taste the Chinese Muslim food. These 2 days are very good, very good. Especially we are promoting a new place called Guilin. So Guilin have almost 500 years history for the Muslim culture.
Viet Vision Travel Vice Director and co-founder Le Chang Tao says that Vietnam is also prepared to adjust their tours for Muslim travelers.
I'm very happy to be here because Malaysians now would like to visit Vietnam a lot, and many of them were very happy after the travel to Vietnam. So we are the Buddhist country. About 70% of the Buddhist population, and the Muslim is a small community in Vietnam. One heritage site. So if any traveler have time, they can enjoy come to Vietnam and see most of them. Each one is different scenery, different culture. And hopefully one day a lot of Muslim and Malaysian can come to Vietnam. Muslim community in Vietnam, we have in the north of Vietnam we have only 40 people, so very small community. But we have a few restaurants and hotels which has Hanan certificate and can serve all the Muslim come to Vietnam.
He says that hotels and restaurants are carefully selected to provide comfort for travelers. Media partners for the fair are Star Publications Berhad, Nanyang Press Holdings Berhad, The China Press Berhad, Aswak Press, Regan Media Sendirian Berhad, and Leisure Media Sendirian Berhad.
That's it for Good Morning ASEAN today. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
Thank you so much for joining อวีนาจุงประสิทธิ์
อนันต์พัชสุรางเดชาพุทธรังสีสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ